Congressman Sylvester-Turner, beloved by so many, including family, colleagues, and even his political adversaries.
He had served in Congress for only 2 months before we learned of his passing today at the age of 70. Here's what we know. Last night, Turner was in the Capitol for President Trump's joint address to Congress. Here he is talking to a woman while he was there. At some point, he was not feeling well, experiencing a medical emergency, according to a spokesperson. They say Turner went to the hospital, was checked out, and released. Then this morning at about 5:45, Turner died at home in Washington from what his family called, quote, enduring health complications. They said his death was unexpected. I spoke extensively with Turner the past 2 years about his battle with cancer. He told me he had recovered, and we do not know if his death was cancer related.
Sylvester-Turner never strayed far from Acres Homes. He grew up there and still resided in his beloved faux, as he would always proudly proclaim.
Said that very often in speeches, and it is there where so many people are touched by his passing, including one of his most loyal friends. Jason Miles live on the north side with more from what he had to say. Jason?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, we're at the Acres Homes Multi-Service Center this evening. You may be able to see behind me the flags here are at half-staff as longtime constituents, longtime confidants remember Sylvester-Turner. In an area where a city park was previously named in Sylvester-Turner's honor, many are now reflecting on the longtime elected leader's passing.
My children grew up saying Uncle Sylvester.
Bishop James Dixon has served many roles in his own career, but says being Turner's friend and supporter is among his most cherished.
Sylvester Turner loved people regardless of who you were, black, white, brown, gay, straight, tall or short, rich or poor, and even if you didn't support him politically, he believed in your humanity.
Happy Juneteenth! He says Turner was proud to be from what he routinely called the 4-4 after the bus route he'd take from Acres Homes to downtown where his mother worked as a maid at the old Rice Hotel.
And will be remembered as one of Acres Homes' favorite sons.
We met Raynetta Glenn today at the Acres Homes Multi-Service Center as word of Turner's death was still spreading.
When there was a funeral, when there was a shower, when there was anything that was going on, Sylvester Turner was there supporting the community.
One community within a much larger city, all served for so long by who Dixon calls a champion while challenged, especially during his recent illness.
And I think that was what I want to keep in my mind about Sylvester Turner, that no matter the challenge, he kept being the people's champion.
And take a look at this coming up on April 4th, or 4-4 is 4-4 Day here in Acres Homes, here at the Multi-Service Center. In fact, I'm told Congressman Turner was planning to participate in this event. Now it will serve partly as a tribute to him. Reporting live from the north side, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
He beloved his loved neighborhood. Jason, thank you.
I found myself this morning having to cope with the loss of a friend. Sylvester Turner and I grew up in politics together. It's a great loss.
Congressman Al Green recalling the moments he found out about his friend and colleague. Over the years, Turner was looked upon by his colleagues as close companions. And during Turner's 8 years as Houston mayor, he helped guide the city through a series of natural disasters and emergencies.
Yeah, from the historic flooding caused by Hurricane Harvey to the COVID pandemic. Rika Mudaraj in the newsroom with more on his political career from the perspective of a man who followed Turner closely. Rika.
Yeah, very closely. A Houstonian that may know the most about Turner's long political career is KHOU 11 political analyst Bob Stein. Now, Stein says he knew Turner for 47 years and has followed every political race he's entered.
I probably pulled on Sylvester Turner more than any single human living person in this constellation.
Bob Stein, a longtime political science professor at Rice University, says he has followed Sylvester Turner's work in public office for decades and says what set the lifelong Democrat apart from other politicians was his ability to reach across the aisle.
I think what's interesting is he wasn't always as partisan and ideological as, of course, the contemporary scene seems.
Stein also reflected on Turner's 4 runs for Houston mayor, first in 1991 and then again in 2003.
This tells you about tenacity. I don't think that Sylvester Turner was ever deterred by what were some very early crushing, if not politically crushing, personally crushing defeats.
Amidst defeat, Turner would continue serving in the Texas House of Representatives, representing District 139 for 27 years. But a mayoral victory came for Turner in 2015, followed by a successful re-election in 2019. During his 8 years in office, he led Houston through several federally declared natural disasters, including Hurricane Harvey, the COVID-19 pandemic, and complex pension reform. But he was not without his critics.
Will Turner's legacy as a public servant be looked back on favorably?
You know, I'm a political scientist, not an historian. I think the more people look and dig, the more they find. Sylvester was what I would call probably one of the most interesting and fascinating political actors in this city's career.
Rekha Muttaraj, KHOU 11 News.
Congressman Turner was known for reaching across the aisle to get things done for his city of Houston.
As mayor, his close friendship with former Republican Harris County Judge Ed Emmett was proof of that. Marcelino Benito spoke with the judge about their special friendship. Marcelino, these two became extremely close.
Well, that's right, Mia. They were politicians of different parties. Turner, a Democrat, Emmett, a Republican. But they forged a close friendship through the years, one that became much closer as partners during one of Houston's darkest times.
This guy and I have seen each other seem like every day since.
Close to it. Close to it.
This 2018 moment captures the relationship between two men forever bound by an historic storm.
Oliver Wendell Holmes, had a quote about those who had gone through the Civil War and said, "We have shared the incommunicable experience of war." Well, Sylvester and I shared the incommunicable experience of Harvey and the disaster. But what made it different with him, and hopefully with me too, was it was never about him.
Tonight, Judge Ed Emmett remembering how that friendship was forged stronger in a flood.
The Harvey experience was made so much easier because Sylvester and I had known each other for many years, and so it was just two longtime friends able to look at each other and go, okay, we've got to get through this. And it was made so much easier just because of his personality.
The sudden news of Turner's death came as a shock to the former judge.
I was driving to a meeting when I got the call early this morning. And frankly, it was a bit emotional because I'll miss seeing him.
Emmett says Turner was a rare leader who found a way to work with everyone for the benefit of his community.
He just always had a smile on his face, was always willing to give out hugs and handshakes. And he was one of those people that you could disagree with politically, but personally, he was a good friend.
Now, Emmett says he spoke to Turner shortly before he went up to Congress and asked him, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Jokingly told him to go enjoy life for a little bit. But Emmett says Turner's decision to serve again proved he was a dedicated public servant to the very end. Back to you.
An amazing bond that forged between them. Thank you, Marcelino.
During his decades in office, Turner was a strong advocate for higher education. Of course, he was a graduate of the University of Houston, but he also had strong ties with Texas Southern University. Troy Kless joins us live, and I know you spoke with the man who actually hired Turner, Troy.
Yeah, that's right, Len. He hired Turner as an adjunct professor, and they grew close together after that. Of course, he is mourning Turner's loss tonight, but Turner's presence was felt both inside and outside of the classrooms at TSU.
But we do know that a great man has been removed from our lives.
Dr. James Douglas was once a dean at Texas Southern University. He remembers hiring Sylvester Turner before his political career started.
At that time, he was young, he was aggressive, he was real bright, and he seemed to be student-oriented.
For several years, Turner was an adjunct professor within the Thurgood Marshall School of Law. In 2022, Turner was given an honorary doctorate degree after years of advocacy for the school in the Texas legislature.
And if you got somebody in the room who can pick up some of those crumbs for you, and Sylvester was always in the room for Texas Southern to pick up some of those crumbs and give us some additional funding.
This is a very important university, as TSU goes, so goes the city of Houston.
Douglas says Turner was proud to be a Houstonian. The two were also proud brothers in the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity.
One of the things about the Alphas is that we're known for being intelligent leaders. And so we always assume that we're supposed to run everything. And so Sylvester it's clear that he was a leader, and he was a true alpha man.
Douglas says Sylvester Turner was serious within his job, but also liked having fun alongside his family and friends. And Douglas says that the two grew closer together, whether it was that business relationship. He also did assist Turner when he made that first mayoral run in the 1990s. And Douglas telling me tonight that he believes that Turner's life is a legacy that can also inspire others. Reporting live in downtown Troy, KHOU 11 News.